This week, Bell's Hells infiltrate the Shiver Keep, set their sights on the Malleus Key, and come face to face with Gloamglut.
No.
They make their way, with Fern leading them through the Fey realm. Legally distinct from the Feywild, I noticed that this week they were making an effort to correct themselves when they said Feywild. They are actively moving away from D&D copyrighted terms more and more. Plus, I also noticed that they didn't have D&D Beyond as a sponsor this week or last week. We've also seen them start to use the term Game Master instead of Dungeon Master, since that is a copyrighted term. And at the end of this incredibly silly video, Matt said,
"We play role-playing games on our Twitch channel most Thursdays."
Role-playing games, huh? Not just D&D? I don't know, I'm just making observations, you know, I'm just clinging on to the dream that they're gonna release their own game system at some point in the future. After a meandering journey, thanks to Fern's low skill check, they arrive at a patch of brambles where they can see tall spires of purple and white marble stretching up to the sky. These towers surround the Shiver Keep, the place where the Unseelie Court are keeping the Malleus Key. I was wondering if these towers could be made of Null Rock, the purplish rock that Imogen was carrying around for a while, but again, it could just be a coincidence. Lordner decides to send Pate for some recon, and he transforms into a shape that might help him fit in here in the Fey realm.
Okay, hold on. You watch like bones like pop, pop, and it sounds like almost just using the same parts. Pate is now trying to transform her into like a bird-esque shape.
Oh, it's like sucking in on its own body. Oh.
Good boy.
It feels a little weird.
Pate flies off towards the towers, very unwieldy, and Lordner looks through his eyes. As he goes closer to the tower, Lordner's vision becomes all sparkly, and they can see that Pate has a light surrounding him. A sort of fairy light glowing from him, indicating that something or someone is watching. I wonder if these towers are emanating a more powerful and expanded version of the Fairy Fire spell, which outlines creatures in a radius in a colorful light, it reveals invisible creatures, and it gives advantage on attack rolls against those creatures. Fairy Fire usually lasts for 1 minute, whereas this effect lasted for 10 minutes. If you think it's a different spell effect, let me know in the comments. As he continues to fly around, a screech echoes around the valley, and Pate spots a large winged creature.
You know it's serious when he says winged.
You watch it.
They try to decide what to do, and FCG reaches out to the Changebringer for some guidance.
Changebringer, if you're out there, please tell us, is that creature a danger to us? And I will flip my coin.
No spell cast. It's
Yeah.
just a coin flip.
Okay. We're good. I think we can just go.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I've been trying to, like, for a long time now. I've been trying to figure out, like, what am I, right? Am I a killer? Am I a healer? What's my past? What am I made of? You know, am I a human? Or am I dancers? You know, like, what am I? But now I realize, like, I got a thing already.
Okay, firstly, am I human or am I dancer? Really, Sam Riegel? Really?
Are we human or are we dancer?
You called your creator dancer just so you could make that joke? Why am I even surprised at this point? I mean, we already had the one-eyed monster slayed your pussy joke in the backstory. This is, you know, not as bad as that, I suppose. No, but really, let's jump to what the meat of what FCG is saying. They have been grappling with what it means to be alive, to have a soul, and to make choices. Do our choices matter, or are they like the flip of a coin? I think FCG is floundering in some way, trying to hold on to something. And the idea that a deity is guiding your hand could certainly be very comforting in that instance. The party, though, expresses some concern about FCG's newfound faith and, you know, tries to encourage them to rely on their own experience and good judgment, but FCG is like, no, I'm just gonna keep flipping this coin. Pate shares a path that they might be able to take to reach the keep to avoid the towers, but before he can come back to the group, he gets eaten by that winged something and sent back to wherever he comes from. Pate-less, the party head off with FCG in the lead as they attempt to thread the needle between the towers. As they are traveling, Orym spots some lights moving ahead and getting closer to them, so Ashton casts Pass Without Trace to give them +10 to all of their stealth rolls, and they blend in with the surroundings. The lights approaching turn out to be a warband with something like 15 figures.
You see them dressed in intricate, dark metal plates and leathers. with almost a shining silver inlay across it in places. You see some of them are larger, hulking, with elements of like dark red or brown fur poking underneath where the plates themselves separate. You can see smaller, stockier figures. You can see tiny winged ones kind of with their own little tiny sets of armor. And they're all wickedly armed. And where their helmets sit, there are these wild masks, these like intricately carved wooden masks that cover their faces.
The leader of this warband is on the back of a black stallion with burning flame eyes and a burning mane. So freaking cool! I think they very quickly decide that this is not a group they want to fight, so they begin to carefully move away from the warband, but unfortunately Ashton rolls a natural 1 on his stealth check and sinks into the earth, crying out and alerting them. It's not just regular mud or earth though, it is slowly devouring him. Ugh. Imogen darts forward and casts invisibility on Ashton, and then they all duck away and blend into the surroundings, just hoping that Ashton won't be found. However, the warband is closing in on them, and Ashton cannot get free of this mud. The party then remember, or I think are reminded by Matt, that they received some advice from Nana Mori.
If the ground grows wanting, be sure to pay it the iron tithe.
Ashton throws some jacks that he bought all the way back in episode 19 in Heartmoor Hamlet, which the earth takes as an offering, and they are able to pull their leg free. Chetney casts invisibility on himself and throws some ball bearings to distract the warband, giving the party an opportunity to move away, and they manage to get to the gate of the Shiver Keep of the Shadow Court. The walls of the Shiver Keep are patrolled by guards, and there are also some weird creatures on patrol.
And it stands from kind of foot to shoulder. It is a quadruped. That its height would be at roughly 5.5, 6 feet. It has a thin, almost stretched dog-like body, like a greyhound. It's spindly with a glorious puffy mane around its neck of like turquoise and reds and oranges, this like multicolor mane. It has a lengthy horn that kind of emerges from the back or the top of the mane that kind of curls backward to a point. It has like standing fox-like ears that are long and have little tufts at the end. And where its face would be, there is just a black, vacuous void.
Nope.
Just a hole of shadow.
Oh, a faceless whippet. That's cool.
It just kind of walks.
This is called an Aramad, and Laudna recalls the saying, "You can't hide from an Aramad." This appears to be a homebrew creature, but of course if I'm wrong and you know the creature, please let me know in the comments. But yes, it's potentially another twisted creation from Matthew Mercer's mind. Are you okay, buddy? They try to come up with a way to get inside and are sort of going around in circles when good old Travis, yeah, I pushed the button, Willingham.
Confused by its location, I'm gonna touch it.
You touch it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Calls out to the guards, transforms into a werewolf, and leads one of them on a merry chase, providing a bit of a distraction, although one of the guards does stay at the gate. Imogen casts invisibility on Orym and Laudna, who spider climbs up the wall with Orym on her back.
All right.
So bony. Oh.
So that they can get a look in the courtyard. Inside, they can see that it is filled with all kinds of trees, glowing with this turquoise light, and that there are sentries and Aramads patrolling. In one corner of the courtyard, right up next to the keep, they can see the Malleus Keep.
Listen to the unique, almost telescope-like shape and design as to what you encountered there. But this one is sleek. It is polished dark stone with metal cabling and numerous carefully embedded arcane cores that just kind of pulse and thrum at different patterned timing. It stretches up about 15, almost 20 or so feet, almost to the height of the exterior wall.
The Malleus Key is connected to Ruidus with a beam of red light that extends from it, and this seems to be what is tethering Ruidus here to the Fey Realm. Laudna and Orym climb down to the underside of the gate as Orym does a count of all of the sentries and Aramads. The guard who was chasing Chetney kind of gives up on chasing him and wounds Chetney's wolfish masculine pride. With Laudna and Orym on the inside, they need to find a way to get everybody else inside as well. So they come up with this plan to use the portable hull to lay it out on the outside of the gate, have everybody get inside, and then have Laudna and Orym pull it underneath the gate and have them all get out on the other side. But I thought this was kind of a silly plan where there seemed to be a fairly obvious solution in my mind, which is that they all get inside the hole. Laudna, who is invisible and spider climbing, can just go down and get it and then carry it over and then open it up on the other side. That seemed a little less risky, but you know, they didn't do that, and actually it was probably for the best, because instead FCG casts banishment on the guard by the gate, and then they all grab the second guard and they throw him inside the hole, and then positioning the hole perfectly, FCG drops the banishment spell.
Release banishment now?
Yeah.
Can I undo it, or does it always last a minute?
No, you can cancel the spell if you want to.
I'll cancel it.
Just position it to where he was.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is the same place kind of where he said it before.
Okay, great. Off!
The guard what? Falls into the hole.
We're all out.
You all are there in the hole. You all climb out and then yank it and fold it. Both the guards are now locked into the hole with it closed.
Yeah!
That was actually a really good idea. Way to go, Bell's Hells. The barkeep turns to you all and says, all right then, who are you supposed to be? Luna, would you start by describing your character? My character is a huge, hulking green orc. She's like super swole. She's called Big Betsy. And yeah, she has this giant sword. She's like got a big mech arm, just like super heavy metal. She's always wearing sunglasses. And I got these like huge, chunky dice to go with her. So yeah, I'm so excited. They're so big. Nice, I love it. All right, and next, well, I'm playing a little pixie, Twinkle Twinkle Tish. She is just like the cutest little thing that you ever saw, and she's constantly like stealing things and making things, especially toys. She loves to make toys. So anyway, I got these adorable dice to go with her as well. Look, they're so cute. They have little dinosaurs inside them. That is so cute. Okay, last but not least, no matter your character, Only Crits has got the perfect set of dice to match. With tons of different styles and sizes, you can find the perfect ones to go with your sassy tiefling bard or deep and thoughtful wizard. Plus, every purchase comes with a free D&D adventure. Follow the link in the description and use the code LUNA at checkout to get 12% off your order. Well, you are all quite the mixed bag. Hey, Big Betsy, why don't you start us off with an intimidation check? Natural 20! Yes! I actually did get a natural 20 in real life. I was just gonna fake it, but it happened anyway. It's the power of Only Crits. Look, you don't believe me? I'll show you. I'll show you, ready? You don't believe me? It's right there. The party are now hidden in the courtyard when an imposing armored figure comes out of the keep.
One of them, you see, at this distance, it's kind of hard to make out details, but they are themselves wearing similar armor to the others, but a heavier, dark coloration to them. The shoulders themselves kind of curve up wider, and the helmet adornment itself is extremely tall. This one definitely has a higher station than any of the other ones you've seen within the fortress.
This person, who we later learn is called Sorrowlord Zathuda, strides out into the courtyard with none other than Odahan Thul. Also, I realized while I was editing this that Sorrowlord Zathuda is Yu's boss. That's who Yu spoke to way back when they had that secret message moment with Matt.
And you immediately remember the familiar voice of the Sorrowlord Zathuda, bearer of the lightless flame, and grove captain of the Unseelie Court.
You. I wait in prickly silence for your report.
My lord, you know that good work takes time.
They walk over to the Malleus Key where they have a discussion about their plans. It seems like the Sorrowlord has some beef with Ludinus. There seems to be some dissent or some disagreement. After this brief discussion, Odahan pulls a scroll out, reads from it, and then disappears, potentially plane shifting out. Man, Ludinus must have like a bunch of lower level wizard clerks, like wizard interns, working on these spell scrolls if there are people just zipping about the planes constantly. Because, you know, making a spell scroll is not cheap or quick work. After Odahan's departure, Sorrowlord Zathuda summons a creature.
Gloamglut, come!
Gloamglut thing in the sky.
And you watch crawling over the top of the wall from the opposite side, from the outside, this massive serpent-like creature. Itself probably head to tail about 45, 50 feet in length. It looks like a dragon, but its limbs are long and thin. Its wings are kind of membranous and somewhat see-through. It's almost like a stretched frog dragon, if you will. Its eyes at the front of its face, its jaw and nose snubbed, its eyes bulging and white, almost like cloudy and milky.
After much discussion, the party enact a plan. First, they open up the portable hole again, discovering that the two guards have suffocated and died, and Ashton and Chetney remove their armor and put it on. I have a feeling that throwing enemies inside the portable hole might become like this party's new polymorph the enemy into a turtle tactic. I don't know, we'll have to wait to see if Matthew Mercer regrets the day that he gave them this portable hole. Fern turns into a slow loris, which is a cute creature, but like personally, I find their eyes to be incredibly creepy. And she dashes off to the Malleus key in that form, and Imogen and Orym spider climb over to the key as well. And it's at this point that we get to see an incredible map of the keep and the Malleus key. The Malleus key here is much more well constructed than the one that the Nightmare King made at the Callaway layaway. We know that this one took several years to build, and therefore it might be trickier to sabotage. You know, it's not kind of cobbled together like that other one was. It's much more well made. Lordna squeezes through an access panel inside the machine and sees arcane pulses of red energy through the inside of the machine, that kind of pulsing that is pulsing through the beam to Ruidus. Whilst looking around inside, Lordna ascertains that there are two potential methods for sabotage. Number one, find a core component like the Moontide Crown that is necessary for the machine to function and not easily replaceable, and either remove it or destroy it. Or two, overload its arcane cores, making it go kaboom! Let's be honest, we all knew which option they were going to choose. But Lordna does give it a go. She climbs further into the machine to try and find something necessary to, you know, rip it out.
As you push through, you feel your wrist kind of like, it doesn't like break, but it gets caught on something. And you're like, oh, that's not good. And then it begins pulling you further into it. And you feel your body being pulled and kind of grinded deeper into the machine.
Cut off the arm.
I need you to make a strength saving throw for me, please.
10.
10. Okay.
That's bad.
It is bad.
You take 16 points of slashing damage as your body is being dragged through the interior mechanisms of the device. Eventually, you get pulled, like basically wrung through, and almost get stuck.
Car washed.
Yep. Before eventually get shunted back out to where you started, just hurt. and none the wiser of a better step forward.
Oh, I hated that. It was so gross, but also I feel like that's gonna be so funny animated if we ever get an animated Bell's Hell series. Orym also comes into the access panel with, I think, like third nat 20 of the night or something, and Lordna makes a little candlelight using prestidigitation, but she realizes her mistake when this drops her invisibility. And honestly, I thought this was a fair call. Matt had reminded Marisha several times that if she casts a spell, she will lose her invisibility. But you know, these things happen. We all make mistakes when we're playing D&D. At this time, Fern also crawls inside and they decide, you know what, screw the quiet version, let's make it go boom! Using Imogen's telepathic power, the plan is communicated to everyone. Chetney and Ashton manage to open up the gate. Orym lights a stick of dynamite and shoves it into the machine, and they all start to hustle out of the machine. You know, the guards notice that something is up, and shit goes down. Imogen casts a twinned witch bolt at the power cores, scoring a nat 20 and severely damaging them. The guards attack. Lordna casts Eldritch Blast at the power cores, further damaging them. Ashton goes into a rage. FCG gets stuck in the grass and summons a cup of coffee.
Try to hit the orb with the spiritual weapon, which manifests in something that machinery hates, which is a cup of coffee that's gonna spill on.
Imogen continues her witch bolt into the power cores, making them extremely unstable. Fern casts Wall of Fire in a circle around the Malleus key, which does some fire damage to the cores. It's only a small amount, only 12, but it is enough.
Yeah.
The flames engulf the space, and you hear what sounds like the loud, high-pitched, sharp crack of deep glass. Like that heavy sound dissipates.
Oh, that's okay.
That's fine.
Yep, there we go.
Suddenly, the flames go blue and are blown to the side as all the cores detonate in the immediate vicinity. All of them.
The red tether that was linking the machine to Ruidus blinks out, and the spectral form of the moon here in the Fey realm disappears. Woo! Unfortunately though, Laudner was in the vicinity and takes a stack of damage, 45 damage, and is blown through the air. Luckily, she casts Featherfall, which helps her land gracefully on the floor, and she is not knocked unconscious. Orym takes half of that damage, and Fern also takes the full damage, which means her wall of fire drops. A few of the guards are completely obliterated by this machine exploding, which is very helpful, and the party continue to battle. I think my least favorite moment was the Aramad attack.
Pulling back where that empty hole in its face is, it lunges forward until your hand gets pulled into it. It pulls you almost up to your shoulder within its mouth. You hear this sound as you do.
Nope, I don't like that.
Hello, it's me, Luna, and I want to send you a postcard. Right now, I am currently running a special offer over on my Patreon. Everyone who signs up to the $5 and $10 tiers by the end of February will get a handwritten postcard from me, plus patrons get access to behind-the-scenes content, early access to some videos, a monthly patron-only live stream, and your name in the credits of every video, just like these wonderful people right here. I'm aiming to make this my full-time job by the end of the year, and I really need your support to do it. So if you find these videos helpful or entertaining, I hope you will consider joining the Chaos Crew. Okay, back to the video.
After battling some more, the party begins to run, planning to lose the pursuers in the brambles, but Gloamglut returns.
Top of the next round, that horrible shriek once more.
Yeah! Oh god. Oh no. Oh, for fuck's sake.
No,
no! No!
What is it? That is nowhere near as cute as what I drew, man.
Oh, what a weird looking mini. It turns out that this mini is a Jabberwock, which is a stat block that appeared in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, D&D's 5th edition Feywild adventure. So it looks like Matt has reskinned and reflavored that monster. They are all dashing away, trying their best not to clump up to make, a nice little target for the dragon. FCG casts a mass healing word, Imogen casts invisibility on herself and FCG, and she also takes a moment to reach out to Laudner and say, I've got my eye on you, I'm still here, which I thought was really sweet. She was obviously worried that Laudner would feel abandoned or alone if she didn't see where Imogen went.
The large Fey dragon, it's like milky white eyes kind of looking down. Its eyes go black, and its mouth opens. It hangs open, the rows of shark teeth, the bottom of the jaw kind of splits open in two, and its head kind of pulls back, this energy kind of begins to swirl in its mouth. Kind of grinds this high-pitched whine sound as it just digs this beam like a laser across the ground.
Fern, Orym, and Chetney all have to make dex saves. Orym and Chetney are okay, but Fern would have been knocked unconscious if not for FCG taking half of the damage. She only has a handful of hit points left. They run, with Imogen using her telekinetic ability to keep pulling Laudner an extra 5 feet, and Ashton is also doing the same with their gravity well feature. Fern is attacked again, and this time knocked unconscious. They manage to drag her into the brambles, they throw the Harrow veils over themselves, and stay very, very still as Gloamglut flies over.
And that's when
Oh my god.
That honestly went way better than I thought it would. They successfully infiltrated the keep, they destroyed the machine. If they can escape this Fey dragon, they'll be set. The question is, what does this mean for the Ruby Vanguard's plans? Does this mean we're not getting a second Calamity? We know that this machine took a long time to build and is likely an integral part of the Predathos releasing process. Perhaps the Ruby Vanguard will recruit Ira again to build another hodgepodge ramshackle one like the one in the Callaway layaway. Or maybe they already have one in reserve, just in case. It's a shame that no one in the party has Scry because I want to see Ludinus's reaction to this news. Hopefully, Plane Rider Rin, if they can meet up with her again, will have some intel on just how much damage Belle's Helves have done to the plan. If they don't have a spare one or they're unable to recruit the Nightmare King, I don't know if they're going to be able to build another one in time because the Apogee Solstice, as Matt confirmed tonight, is just 13 days away. Granted, they are in the Fey realm, so they could pull some time shenanigans. All right, you know the drill. Let me know your theories about this in the comments. And speaking of theories, Mitten and Wendy posit that Ludinus may be planning to attempt to ascend to godhood in the same way that the Matron of Ravens did, which makes sense. If he releases Predathos that consumes all of the god, the way is likely free and clear for him to ascend to godhood as well. Now, of course, he would have the slight problem of then Predathos probably trying to eat him, but perhaps he is confident that he can contain Predathos or can manipulate it, or maybe he's made a deal. Like Predathos is like, you know what? If you let me eat all the other gods, I'll let you live. A ludinous god is pretty terrifying. And for another theory, Dark Swan wonders if we're going to see Yu Safaid, Erika Ishii's character again, since they are in the Fey Realm, which is where Yu is from. Yu did say they were going to come back for the Moontide Crown, and this would be the perfect location for them to pop up again. I can't remember where I saw this theory, so I'm sorry if it was someone in the comments, but it might have been on Reddit or on Twitter, that it would be a really fun idea because Yu is a shape changer if we have a different guest come in to play Yu so that we don't actually know that it's Yu, and then when the transformation happens, Erika comes back on or something like that. It would probably logistically be a little bit of a nightmare, but I think that is a really fun idea. Hopefully Bell's Hells will be able to get out of this Gloamglut mess and make it safely back to Nanamori's. I always hate when they end on these cliffhangers. It's so stressful. If you feel the same, may I offer you a Legend of Vox Machina reaction video in this trying time? And don't forget to jump into my Discord to further speculate and theorize. Bye! I need everybody to know that my script says the party all have to make sex saves. That is a whole other roleplay game, okay?